What's up, y'all? I am Diablo Rodriguez, and welcome to my channel D1, where we talk all things money, finance, and life. In today's video, we're going to talk about credit card debt. Let's get right into it.
Bruh.
Okay, so I think I might have just kind of told on myself. So, quick story. So when I was younger, late teens, early 20s, I didn't know anything about finances. Like a lot of people just didn't take the time to learn. That was absolutely my fault. Because of that, during that time, I was swiping up and charging up my credit card left and right. I mean, any opportunity I could use my credit card during my late teens, early 20s, I absolutely did. And therefore, it put me in debt. Therefore, it put me in collections. So when I see these credit card limits of $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, my little simpleton brain is like, how? How, Sway? How are y'all getting these large credit limits? That's crazy. Right now, the highest credit limit I have, I think, is $4K. And that's on my Apple card. I got two cards, Capital One cards, two Capital One cards at $3K. And then I got one card at $15K. I'm good. I'm good. You know, because each month I can pay it off. I'm not tripping. Oh yeah, I forgot. I got an Amex. Amex is at $1,700. You know, real simple. Look, it keeps me in check. Will it be nice to have those large credit limits? It's kind of a flex. Absolutely. But what's not a flex is having 10K, 15K, over 2K, in credit card debt. That's crazy. At the age of 22, almost $30,000 in credit card debt. That is diabolical. Let's go to the comments, y'all. Like I said, my little broke simpleton mind can't just comprehend that. But I will say this before we go to the comments really quickly. That I will say, making those poor decisions early on definitely taught me a lesson, because when I went into collections when I had my first credit card, which was an Amex Go card, 5K in collections, I was hot. I was hot because I had to pay that back plus fees. You know what I'm saying? So if you can avoid the collections, you can avoid charging up your credit card, do it. All right, don't learn the hard way like me and apparently like this young lady here. Again, first comment. And I was afraid, crying and throwing up over my 2K. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm like. Like, my little simpleton mind just can't comprehend people that got 10K, 15K, 20K credit limits. That's crazy to me. My freedom hit $300 this week and I panicked. Watch Caleb Hammer. I love him. And he's a great content creator when it comes to finances. I definitely recommend him as well. Next comment, being approved for that is impressive though. You know, and that's kind of my mindset. That's what I'm like, hey, if you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and you got a credit limit over 10K, shoot, if you got a credit limit over 7K, that is a mad flex. But at the same time, it's a trap, in my opinion, because it's tempting to use that credit limit, you know, when they keep bumping it up. You know, first you started at 5K, they bump it up to 7. Next thing you know, you're at 10. Next thing you know, you're at 15, 20, 30. It's just like, bro, when is the madness going to stop? So you just got to be responsible, really resist the temptation to ball out. You know what I'm saying? But no, it's impressive. I'm not gonna front. Last comment, and I'm stressed about my little 200. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel like, man. Each month, I pay off my credit cards, typically in the middle of the month. So either on the 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, or 20th. My goal is to pay it off before the 21st, because what I've learned is that most credit card companies report to your credit bureaus on the 21st or the 22nd. So I always make sure I pay my credit card off between that window of 4 days. All right.
I'm gonna give y'all 3 tips on the fastest way to pay off credit card debt. At least it was the fastest way for me. Number 1, assess your debt. List out all your debts. Figure out which one is the smallest amount, which one has the highest interest rate, the lowest minimum monthly payments, etc., etc. And the reason why you want to assess your debt first, because you need to know what angle you need to come from. A lot of people, we just know what debt we have. We know our minimum monthly payment, but we have no plan. We have no strategy. So once you have and develop a strategy, you can get done with it a lot faster. Number 2, create a budget. This is the most slept on in finances to me for whatever reason. I don't know. A budget literally tells you where your money is going and what you have left over. So once you're going through paying yourself first, contributing to your savings, going through your fixed expenses, going through your variable expenses, whatever you have left over, put that towards your debt. That will knock off months of debt. You can add literally $25 depending on your interest rates and all the details of the debt, but you can add an extra $20 a month that'll knock 6 months off of your debt. I've seen it, I've witnessed it, I've experienced it myself. Number 3, choose your method. You can go snowball, you can go avalanche. For me, snowball was the most effective way for me physically and mentally. Physically, because I'm literally seeing the number get lower and lower, and so that done something to my mind mentally. And so I'm like, every single extra dollar that I had, I'm like, man, let me throw that to that. So my minimum monthly payment was $60, and I had an extra $20. Oh, it's going to that. If I got $100 left over, I'm just going to that. When I seen stuff that I wanted, I'm like, dang, that's $150. But if I can spend $150 on that, I really can put $150 towards that debt. Like, that's what it does to me using the snowball method, because you see those quick results. You see the progress going a lot faster. But the avalanche method, depending on your high interest debt, it could be the best way for you, and it possibly could be the quickest way for you. But I know the snowball method, you see them quick wins, and it does something to my mind personally. And I've seen a lot of people say the same thing for them with the snowball method. So for me, like I said, that was the most effective, most efficient way, and it helped me pay down a lot of my credit card debt the fastest. But as I mentioned in the first 2 tips, figure out what your debt is looking like. Once you figure that out, establish a budget if you don't have one. Whatever's left over out of that budget, that's what you need to be throwing, whether you're doing the snowball method or the avalanche method. Stay disciplined and consistent, and I promise you'll start seeing that debt just continue to go from here, and it's just gonna turn you up and motivate you to want to get it knocked out a lot faster.
Yeah, so he was speaking a lot of cool things in that video, a lot of gems in that video. So there are a couple of things I want to touch on. So the first thing he said was the debt dashboard. I think that's really, really smart to kind of have an interface where you can just lay out every debt you have, what the amount is, so you know what you have to pay back, and you can kind of compartmentalize which ones you want to tackle first based on the amount and the interest rate. The other thing that he said that I thought was really, really key was just creating a budget. A lot of people don't want to create a budget for some strange reason. They think it's a lot of work, but it really isn't. Kind of laying out your expenses and kind of giving you a visual about what you can spend and what you can't spend. I personally use a budget, and it helps me stay on track each month. It lets me know what money is tied up towards bills and what money is free to do what I want, per se. One last thing that I want to touch on that he talked about, and it was the avalanche and snowball method when it comes to paying off credit card debt. So the snowball method, the focus of this method really pays attention to paying off debts with the smallest balance first, regardless of the interest rate. So how it works, you make the minimum payments on all of your debts except for the smallest one. You then pay extra money you have towards the smallest debt until it's paid off. And then once the smaller debt is gone, you move on to the next smallest debt and repeat the process. The pros of this, the method can be very motivating because you see quick wins as you pay off smaller debts, which can help you stay committed to your debt repayment plan. The cons of this, and this is kind of a big con, you may end up paying more interest over the time compared to the avalanche method. So as you're not prioritizing debts with higher interest. Now, the avalanche method. So this is kind of something that I use personally that worked best for me. And the focus of this method prioritizes paying off debts with the highest interest rate first, regardless of the balance. So if you have something that has a 20, 24, 25, and dare I say 30% interest rate, I highly suggest you tackle that first regardless of the amount, because that interest is going to eat you up and it's going to take you a lot longer to pay off that debt if you're not tackling the interest. How it works, so you make the minimum payments on all your debts except for the one with the highest interest rate. You then put extra money towards the highest interest debt until it's paid off. Once the debt is gone, you move on to the debt with the next highest interest rate and continue the process until all of your debts are paid off. The pros of this, which I think is a big pro, the method can save you more money in interest over the long run because you're aggressively paying down the most expensive debts first. And then the cons, it may take longer to see the impact of your efforts, especially if your highest interest debt is a large one, which could potentially make it harder to stay motivated.
Bruh.
It's payday, and we're paying off a credit card. If you don't know, my husband and I are currently in $47,849.39 of credit card debt. You guys know how much I hate our Apple credit card, and its days have come to an end. Thank goodness. Good riddance, literal. We started paying off the Apple credit card at the beginning of February, and that balance was $4,162.47, and we are now in the middle of April, and we're paying it off. All right, so let's get into the budget for the week. He got paid today on the 18th, and then I also earned some extra money from walking my favorite dogs that live here in the neighborhood. And then this unexpected is actually money that we had left over from our Vegas trip. So obviously that is going straight to the credit cards. And this is what the rest of the budget looks like. My first payment on this new 0% balance transfer card. Here we go. Apple pay off $4.99 to that, which leaves an extra $156 left over to go towards the next credit card. Here we go. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. 0. When I press enter, boom, paid off, baby. And then actually the 156 is going to go here towards my Chase card. The rest of this balance went towards the new 0% balance transfer card. Okay, so there's just this amount that couldn't completely fit on this card, so that's why we have this here, and we're going to pay this off next and then start working on our other 0% interest cards. With the 156, that will bring this down to 586, and that leaves us with a total of $47,193.69. We're almost out of the $47,000 range. We are done with Apple. I'm so excited about that. Anyways, that's what it's looking like for the week. I always get questions where this template is downloaded from. I created it myself, spent hours learning how to even make this. You can find a very, very similar one in the link that is at the top of my TikTok page. I will talk to you later. Love you, bye.
Yeah, that credit card debt amount was crazy, over $47,000. But something that I'm going to congratulate her on, and anyone else that's doing this with large amounts of credit card debt, honestly, with any amount of credit card debt, that she had a budget, and she had a debt budget, and every debt that she had on her credit cards was listed out, the amount, how much they're paying, the interest. I thought that was brilliant. Again, just to visualize everything that you owe, so you can create a game plan to pay it back. Like her and her husband coming up with that plan, brilliant. And I think something that was really, really cool, something that she utilized that a lot of people don't, is the balance transfer. So for instance, you have a high balance on a credit card with a high interest rate, like let's say 24%, you owe $7,000 on a credit card that has a 24% interest rate. You can open up another credit card that has, let's say, 5%, 10%, dare I say 0% in the introductory phase of the credit card, and transfer that balance to that card. You know what I'm saying? So take that $7,000 at 28% and transfer it over to the new card at 0% interest. That's going to save you a lot of money. I think that was brilliant that she was using that. Really, really cool. Let's go to these comments really quick. First person says, I didn't realize that there are so many of us in this place. Great job. And I think that's the thing too. Credit card debt is shameful, as it should be. But I think people are under this impression that they're the only ones with credit card debt, and we know that millions of Americans suffer the plight of crippling credit card debt. So you're not alone. Like I say, we're all in this together. Next comment, I regret my Apple Card so much. And I did too when I first got it, because out of all of my credit cards, Apple gave me the highest limit. And when I ask people who have credit cards and also have the Apple Card, they also say the same thing, that Apple is really generous with those credit limits. So be careful with the Apple Card. Next comment, I regret the Apple Card. How my 2,000 go up to 2,400. That's interest. All right, one last comment. How do you make this Excel spreadsheet? I would love to use this. So with that spreadsheet, you can go on YouTube and just type in budget spreadsheet, credit card payment spreadsheet, and there are literally tons of them on YouTube that shows you step by step. Or even better, there's just a link for you to download the one that they created in the video. So I highly suggest you do that.
Bruh. Average credit card debt by income. This data was collected by the Federal Reserve as part of their survey of consumer finances, which was completed in 2023. The way that they have this income data segmented is actually by income percentile, but for more relevant comparison, I'll be sharing the median annual salary for each income percentile. Before we begin, no matter where you fall on this list salary-wise, I don't think anyone should be paying the average credit card interest rate of 24.28%. If you have credit card debt, please prioritize getting it out of your life. To begin the list, at the lowest income percentile, a median annual salary of $20,540, 33.4% of these people have credit card debt with an average balance of $3,630. Moving on, median annual salary of $43,240, 46.4% of these people have credit card debt with an average balance of $3,840. Next, median annual salary of $70,260, 56.9% of these people, the highest in this list, have credit card debt with an average balance of $5,950. Next up, median annual salary in the six figures at $115,660. 54.4% of these people have credit card debt with an average balance of $7,440. Median annual salary of $189,160. 44.6% of these people still have credit card debt. I do not understand this. An average balance of $8,900. Finally, this is unbelievable. I have no idea why these people would still have credit card debt. But a median annual salary of $390,210. 25.4% of these people have credit card debt with an average balance of $11,000.
Yeah, so the average credit card debt by income is kind of crazy. I mean, I was kind of shocked by all of them, but especially the 390K range. How does someone who makes that much money still have $11,000 on average of credit card debt? To me, it sounds like you're living beyond your means. And someone that's in the 70K bracket, you know, between 70K and 85K is where I lay. Where I lay, like, why am I rhyming? Between 70K and 85K, that's where I'm at. Yeah, if I had $390,000, I wouldn't have any debt. Are you kidding me? Why? Like, it doesn't make. I just can't comprehend that. But what's kind of shocking though, that the 21K, 43K, and the 70K were all kind of close in the amount of debt, credit card debt that each person was averaging. So what does that tell you too? So people in the 21, 43 with credit card debt had the same amount of people with same amount of debt as people in 70K, which kind of blew my mind. You know, it's like, wow. So if you can pay off that credit card debt, please do so. It's the worst kind of debt that you can have, honestly. All right, really quickly, let's go to the comments. These stats are a snapshot in time. Doesn't mean those folks aren't paying off the balance monthly. That's true. However, it still isn't good when people have, on average, that high of a credit card balance. It's not good any way you slice it. Next comment. I've always found these credit card stats confusing. I've always averaged around 4K of credit card debt, but I never carry a balance and pay no interest. It's just living. So technically, I have debt. Good point. Sounds right. I charge everything to my credit card, even miles, and pay it off 100% each month. And that's kind of what I do. I make sure that credit card is paid off each month. I am not carrying over a balance. And then one last comment. At the higher end, that is just monthly spend out on credit cards to get points and paid off monthly. No interest. I hope so, because I just can't fathom someone in the highest tax bracket having that much credit card debt or carrying it over month to month. It just doesn't make sense. But good point.
Bruh.
I'm about $4,300 in credit card debt, but after yesterday, I'm now $4,258.79 in credit card debt. This is day 23 of the series where I Spark Drive, DoorDash, or Instacart to pay off my credit card debt, but I'm only going to pay off one card right now. On that one, I owe $3,334.51. I'm going to probably go to like $12.30 to like $4.30 and see how much we can make. The goal is to make $100 a day or more. Let's get started. I have an order in my trunk right now, and it's for $16. This one is for $14. This order in my trunk is for $15. This order in my car right now is for $20. My last order was for $12, and the one I'm on right now is for $30. So I guess I qualified for an incentive. The Spark gave me $24 extra, so I ended up making $158.91. That brings my total debt down to $4,099.88. And on that one card, that puts me at $3,175.60. See y'all on day 24.
Yeah, I just love people who have plans when it comes to paying off credit card debt. You know, even if you have to pick up a little side hustle to pay off that credit card debt so you're just not drowning in interest, I highly recommend it. Just do it and get it done. You know what I'm saying? I commend her. Try to have a goal, a daily goal of making $100 to pay off that credit card. It's lofty, but respectable at the same time. Let's go to the comments really quickly. First comment. I'm $500 in debt and I be freaking out. Yeah. Next comment. $2,700 and I'm stressing. Been there, done that. Next comment. I was $17,000 in credit card debt. Paid it off in 1.5 years doing Uber. Okay. At least they had a plan to pay that off, because that's a large amount. And for her, or for them, to pay that off basically in 18 months, it's really impressive. Good job. Next comment. I have paid $8,000 toward credit card debt since Jan 1st doing Spark. It's all worth it in the end. Amen, sister. And then one last comment. Almost under 4K. He says, that's it. Keep the positive energy going. She got this. She has a plan and she's doing great.
Bruh.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for chilling with me today. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And also, make sure you comment down below. Which payoff method do you prefer when it comes to credit card debt? Avalanche versus Snowball? Let me know below. And then as we close, be kind, be blessed, and remember, we're all in this together. Peace.
Bruh.